What's up everyone, Mark here, and I'm about to show you how to make this amazing pizza that I promise will be the best one you've ever made yourself in your own home. Now, I can't take credit for the idea. This is basically a copycat of the Trio Pizza from Krispy Pizza in Brooklyn, New York, and there's a good chance that you're already familiar with it if you're watching this video. In case you're not, it's a thick crust pizza, lightly sauced with cheese edge to edge and alternating stripes of vodka sauce, marinara sauce, and basil pesto sauce. This absolutely gorgeous and delicious looking pizza made the rounds on social media a while back, and since I live nowhere near Brooklyn, I've been making it myself ever since. Rhode Island is renowned for the authentic Little Italy in Providence's Federal Hill neighborhood, so it wasn't long after seeing this thing that I was inspired to give it a shot myself, and it is so good. You don't have to take my word for it though. Even the original Krispy Pizza in Brooklyn thought my version looked spot on. The best part is, it's kind of a cheater's recipe that uses all store-bought ingredients, including the dough. Of course, there are plenty of recipes out there if you want to make your own dough, or even your own sauces, but with a few plain, off-the-shelf ingredients, you can easily throw this thing together any night of the week. Just check the video description for the list of ingredients and preparation steps. While I've been talking, I've already brushed my pan with some oil and started shaping my dough. I'm using a quarter sheet pan, which is half the size of a normal rimmed baking sheet and is ideal for a 1-pound ball of pizza dough from the supermarket. I let the bag of dough sit out at room temperature for about an hour before I started so it would relax and be a little easier to work with. I find it's usually best not to try and do all the stretching at once, especially if it feels like the dough is fighting you. I just cover with a sheet of plastic wrap hit with some nonstick cooking spray, let it rest, and come back in 15 to 20 minutes. Usually I revisit the dough 2 or 3 times before it's filling the pan and not snapping back, after which I give it an additional 15 to 20 minutes to bounce back from all the stretching and pressing. While I'm waiting for the dough, it's a great time to get the oven preheated. The main secret to a great pizza at home is getting the oven as hot as possible. For me, 550 Fahrenheit or 288 Celsius is as high as it goes. Baking on the center rack is best for this, but if you have a pizza stone or steel, place it on the rack directly below. It'll hold on to a lot of heat, helping to even out fluctuations in oven temperature throughout the baking process. You can even place the pan directly on the stone toward the end if you need to get a little extra browning on the bottom. Before we start saucing, there's one last step to prepare the dough. Docking, or the process of poking small holes all over the surface to help prevent air pockets under or inside the dough from deforming the pizza during baking. I just use a fork. Pretty simple. Now it's time for the first saucing, and we're just going to use regular marinara. This layer needs to be extremely thin, so don't overdo it. We're going to be par baking the crust for a few minutes so it can stand up to the weight of the cheese and sauce stripes without collapsing or sogging out. Once covered evenly, it's going into the oven for about 5 to 7 minutes, or until risen and the sauce looks mostly dry. Next, it's mozzarella time. Pre-grated cheese is coated with cellulose to keep it from clumping up in the bag, and since cellulose powder doesn't make for tasty pizza, I usually like to grate my own. I almost never keep blocks of mozzarella around, but what I do have in the fridge all the time is string cheese. About 4 or 5 of these run through a box grater are just right for this pizza, and the cheese sticks are a great way to easily have fresh grated mozz on hand anytime you need it. With the pizza cheesed, it's finally time for some stripes. But first, if you've liked the video so far, then go ahead and hit the thumbs up. If you've hated it, then just hit the thumbs down. Okay, so I'm starting with the vodka sauce, but it really doesn't matter. Keeping the stripe relatively thin, I connect 2 corners diagonally. Then it's just a matter of alternating sauces with a small gap of the white cheese showing through in between. Vodka, marinara, and pesto in neat parallel lines across the top. For the pesto, I like to use this fresh version from Buitoni, not sponsored, because it just tastes so much better than anything preserved in a jar. Still, it's a little thick and powerful to use on its own, so I like to thin it out just a bit with some cream. It doesn't take much, but you want it to be a similar consistency to the other sauces versus a stiff paste. Stripes in place, the pizza's ready for the oven. Baking time can vary, but in my case it usually takes about 10 minutes, plus an additional 2 to 5 minutes with the pan directly on the pizza stone to help develop that nice bottom crust. The last step before I cut into this thing is a healthy amount of freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano. You may be tempted to use the stuff in the green can, but if that's all you've got, then just skip it. Not getting into how it's not even real Parmesan, that stuff contains cellulose too, and the dry powdery texture isn't doing your pizza any favors. Finally, it's time to cut and taste. And let me tell you, as someone who always seemed to get flat, limp, rubbery pizza out of store-bought dough, this is light and airy, but also thick and sturdy under the weight of all that cheese and sauce. The golden crust is crispy and almost fried a little bit on the bottom from the oil, which is a nice contrast to the soft interior. I say this to myself every time I make one of these, but the pesto sauce is really the star of the show here. I'm not sure if it's the particular brand I use or what, but one of these days I've gotta try making a pie with just the pesto. Hopefully you all are as inspired as I first was to try making this pizza, and if you are, then I'd love to hear what you think down in the comments. Especially if you've got some ideas on how to plus it up or change it up to make something even better. I hope you'll also consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. I've got new videos out all the time covering an array of topics, including plenty more just like this one. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.